Okay, Section F, Step 3, Airplane Mode Training. So, to get to this point, you want to make sure you're proficient at the hover mode. That would be like nose-in hover, ascents and descents, and flying around in figure eights and circles in front of you. Once you get to that point and you feel confident, then you want to practice some full power climb out. So I don't usually just jam the stick full power, but I'll very briskly take my collective pitch stick and move it to full power, and the aircraft should climb very briskly. If you're really observant, you may see it actually slow down a little bit as the disc bogs a little bit, but then as the aircraft accelerates vertically, it can actually start gaining speed as the pitch governor adds collective pitch. But what you want to do is make sure you have a full battery, and or at least within the first 30 seconds of flight, and do some brisk full power climb outs, and then bring your ship back and plug it in and download the Castle data link, and look that your maximum wattage is between 450 and 500 watts, and if you're below that, then you want to go into the pitch governor tab and decrease your P and I gain. And I just keep those two values the exact same. If you're below that, you want to decrease your pitch governor gain. If you're above that, you want to increase your pitch governor gain. So if you make those in about 10-point increments and then go out and retest, you should fairly quickly get between those two values. Then I recommend that also you step into airplane mode slowly. So what I'll do is, or what I recommend is that in the transmitter, you just take your conversion volume and turn it down. So if you go to the what they call the endpoint adjustment in Futaba, and then go to your AUG7, and right now I run between 76 and 96. So that 76, if you which is helicopter mode, the 96 is airplane mode. So if I turn that down to just 10 or 20, then when I give a full stick deflection, then my nacelle will only go about 10 or 15 degrees or so, and that is the best way to handle it, other than trying to actually just move your stick, your conversion stick, just little amounts. It's better just to leave it that full swipe, so you don't have to be so precise with it, and you don't have to wonder where you are. You know where you are when you set it up this way, instead of just guessing, well, I think I'm about at this conversion angle, and I think I'm a little bit farther. Now you know every conversion angle exactly, because you're at full stick deflection. So anyway, just do that and step through it in 10% or 20% increments, and I think it'll just keep you much more aware of the situation. And while you're doing that, because you do know exactly where you are, if you get any tail wag, sometimes I get a little tail wag, which is just in yaw, and even though I haven't seen it in a long time, I might have fixed that with some of my new gain settings. But one of the main culprits of tail wag is a loose tail. So if you're running the profile model, make sure that you have that joint, and make sure you have those splice plates on the right way. between the profile, aft, and forward tails. Make sure that's tight and it's not real loose. Now as you get close to airplane mode, which is in conversion angles below 45, so somewhere between 45 and 0 degrees, then the pitch governor will start coming into play. And as the pitch governor starts coming into play, you'll also be able to verify where your wattage settings are. And if you're at a high enough collective pitch, then you should be looking for maximum wattages between 450 and 500 watts. And you'll get peaks, and those peaks you really want to keep them below 550 to 600. So to do that, a lot of times you need to be a lot closer to 450 on your max wattage to keep those peaks down below 600 for sure. And you'll just want to, as you get farther and farther into airplane mode and higher collective pitch settings, which means faster speeds, you'll want to keep an eye on that wattage till you get a good feel that you're not going continuously over 500 watts. And that'll give you really good reliability. I've got Castle speed controls, the old Phoenix 45 that I've flown for a couple years now. It must have 150 flights on them, and they still have the heat shrink totally intact on them. And I don't know if you fly a lot of 3D 450 stuff, that heat shrink never lasts for me more than a few weeks because I get those things so hot that just melts off the heat shrink. But you know what I'm saying is the idea behind this aircraft is we oversized a lot of components, and that was to get the reliability up. Be aware of your battery power in airplane mode. You've got to get back, convert back out, descend, and bring it to a hover and land. That all takes time. You don't want to be in airplane mode and notice your ship slowing because the pitch governor is backing off collective pitch because you're losing a lot of RPM because your batteries are going dead. And if you get into that situation, it's real tricky. I've been there before and I've gotten it back on the ground, but it's really tricky to get it back on the ground. You want to convert out as quickly as possible, decrease collective pitch to full negative collective pitch, bring it down as quickly as possible, and almost do a quasi-powered auto rotation and flare at the last second. If I've talked about oscillations, if you notice any oscillations, like I said, usually that'll be in the yaw direction. Then as you step through each one of these points in 10-degree increments, you can actually go to that exact place in the gain curve adjustment tab, and you can actually turn down that specific gain of that one nacelle angle, and of course you'll want to turn that down till you don't get any wag, either roll, pitch, or yaw. But like I said, I've only experienced it in yaw and around the 30-degree range, and I haven't seen it in a long time, so I think I've fixed that. Now, I've done this a little bit, and airplane pilots are going to probably feel uncomfortable about flying in airplane mode with the rate within heading hold mode, because in heading hold mode you have to drive the rudder around, or the yaw axis around, because it won't come around naturally. So if this makes you feel uncomfortable, you can conversion gain curve window, you can actually turn off your heading hold feature at any given conversion angle, and you may want to do that at just the real low conversion angles, like 10 10 degrees and 0 degrees when you get close to airplane mode, and that'll help weather vane and should make your rudder control a little bit easier for the airplane guys. Also, I'm always flying around and doing updates, little tweaks to the settings file, so before you get going in airplane mode, always look to see if there's an update to the setting files, and you may want to load that, because I do make updates and try to get the what I'm shooting for is try to get the feel of the sticks the same throughout the entire conversion process. So there's a lot of points there to mess with, and I'm always making updates. If you're going to spend a lot of time in airplane mode, you may want to order a set of the twisted blade upgrade. It reduces your maximum wattage to maintain straight and level flight by a good 150 watts. So they significantly improve the efficiency in airplane mode. We should have that twisted blade set available by the end of 2011.